Hi, this is John Martinez with Midwest Revenue Group, and my company helps other companies train their sales teams and really convert more leads into deals or sales. So, there's really only a few or a small handful of reasons business owners come to us for help. And two of those reasons are low conversion rates. That means not as many of their leads are being turned into sales as they'd like. And bloated pipelines, which means there's this backlog, there's this huge list of potential customers that no one really knows if they're real prospects or if they should be disqualified, and it's a distraction. Now, the reason why this is because most salespeople feel like it's their job to qualify every prospect, to take as many prospects as possible and kind of push them and force them down that sales funnel to the next stage. And this makes sense when you think about it on the surface. You worked hard for leads, you want to turn every lead possible into a deal that you can, and you don't want to, prematurely disqualify anyone. But that frame of thinking, that mindset is actually the cause of the bloated pipelines, and it's the cause of low conversion rates. We're trying to sell too many people that we shouldn't be trying to sell. When you think about sales, really, the best salespeople in the world don't treat it as a process of qualify as many people as we can and shove them through that sales funnel. The best salespeople in the world treat every sales process as a process more of disqualification. So that's what I'm going to advise you to do if you've got a problem with bloated pipelines and really low conversion rates, is start to look at your sales process as a process of disqualification. I grew up in the San Francisco area, home of the San Francisco 49ers, and 49ers panned for gold. So growing up, we learned a lot about that process of panning for gold. And what you learn about how to take large amounts of rocks and sediments and dirt and how to find those very valuable pieces of gold and separate it from the worthless dirt, that is a process, actually, just like sales, a process of disqualification. The way you pan for gold is you take a pan and you fill it up with dirt and rocks, and you put a little bit of water in it. And essentially what you're doing is you spin it around and you keep, you're really getting rid of all the dirt, all the rocks. You're filtering out all the junk. In other words, you're disqualifying everything in that pan. And at the very end, once you've disqualified everything, you're left with just a little bit of sediment in the bottom. And that sediment is your gold, maybe a couple nuggets, but mostly flakes. That's how a process of disqualification works. And in order for this to make sense, think about the opposite. Think about if panning for gold, which is it's essentially what sales is, right? You take this huge sea of prospects and you're trying to just pluck out the ones that are a perfect fit for you. Imagine if panning for gold, imagine if they did it the opposite way, the way we usually sell when we're trying to qualify everyone. Imagine if they just took a huge pile of dirt, they put it on the ground, and they just stared at it. And they said, I'm just going to try to find that one little flake of gold here and the one little flake of gold there. That's absolutely insane. It wouldn't work. No one would find gold. No one would get rich. It just wouldn't work at all. And this is the exact same as your sales process. If you look at this huge sea, this bloated pipeline of prospects, and try to qualify everyone, try to look at everything without tossing anything away, without throwing anything away, you're not going to get very far. And the little progress you do make, it's going to take a whole lot of work and energy just to get there. Think of your sales process the same. You don't want to do that. Why use a tremendous amount of energy for very little results? Instead, just switch it. Start disqualifying your prospects. Here's how you can actually implement this in your sales process today, and start looking at sales as a process of disqualification instead of qualification. If you're in a sales leadership position, start coaching your salespeople to ask all the reasons why a business wouldn't do business with you or an individual wouldn't do business with you. This is going to very quickly toss away the people and identify the people or companies or businesses that you don't have any chance of doing business with. It's going to kind of start to clear the way. Start asking questions like, so why wouldn't you do business with us? So what might that uncover? Well, it'll uncover things like budget. Well, if you're more than this, we can't because we simply don't have the money. It might uncover things like expectations. Well, if you don't do this and don't do this and don't do this, that's really what we're looking for, so we won't do business with you. And you'll start to clear the way. You'll start dumping all the junk, and at the end of the day, you're just going to be left with gold. So, hey, listen, I love making these videos. If you enjoyed it and if you think anyone else out there could get a little bit of value from it, please share it with them.